Hey guys, Brian here from Better Chess Training, and today I just want to talk about a couple important skills in calculation and use this endgame study as an example of it. If you enjoy this video, make sure you hit the like button. Okay, this is a Kubbel study, a famous composer whom I've enjoyed solving his studies, and it is white to play and draw. So uh, it might help the discussion if you try to solve this yourself, but I would give yourself 10, 15 minutes at the most. It shouldn't take you any longer than that. So try to solve it and then we can discuss it. Okay, I hope you had a chance to try to solve it. And the main thing I want to talk about is uh, that as you were solving this, you probably saw two main candidates. And those would be knight to f5 check and b7. And the main idea here is that you might have seen a line like this: knight to f5 check, and then queen takes f5, and then g3 check, and then let's say king to h5 or king to h3. Um, and then you might have thought b7, bishop takes b7, and here it is stalemate, okay, because the king can't go anywhere. Every other piece is blockaded. And then you thought, well, that's the solution. Um, and then maybe if you looked a little further, or maybe you saw it first, you might have thought, well, what about b7? Okay, and then you might have done some calculations. Bishop takes b7, and knight to f5 check. Queen takes f5, g3 check, and no matter where the king goes, either h5 or h3, then again we have stalemate. So the main lesson here is that even though these two positions, these two variations look very similar, like they transpose, there's actually a very big difference upon them. And some of you, as you solve this, hopefully found this. Let's go back to the beginning position. And if you had started off with knight to f5 check, okay, and this is the first move I looked at when I considered this position, we have queen takes h5, and then maybe, well, as we saw the g3 variation here, king to h3. Now, here, after b7, you have to consider that um, black is not obligated to take this piece, okay? Of course, he can move it, but he can move his bishop out of the way, in which case maybe white promotes. But more importantly, black has an unstoppable threat here. And maybe some of you saw it, and it's queen to f3. And after queen to f3, say white promotes, then we have checkmate. Okay, so let's say you go back in your calculation. So hopefully you saw that if you were thinking about knight to f5 check. But let's go back after queen takes f5. Well, maybe it's just a change of the move order we need to do. Maybe we do b7. And again, if bishop takes b7, we have g3 check with this stalemating theme. But again, uh, black is not obligated to take this, and again has a deadly threat here of queen 4. Now, if we promote, then we have this checkmate. Okay. Now, what does that tell us? So knight to f5 check has a lot of dangers in it that if we casually saw that first line, we might say, well, it's equivalent to b7. So let's just take a look here at b7 and make sure that this line works. So b7, and if, say, we avoid this, then we just get a promotion and we're actually up a piece, and actually we're threatening checkmate here. So it's very dangerous for black. Now, the other move, critical move you need to calculate here is queen to e1 check. And after knight to f1, we see that this queen doesn't have any more safe checks. And after he takes here on b7, because otherwise the pawn would have promoted on b8 or c8, then we have our drawing combination here with g3 check. And of course, if we were to take, then with the queen, then of course white's actually winning here after takes g check. But if the king moves, say to h3, again, we have our stalemate because the knight is pinned, and these pieces are blockaded, and all of these squares are covered. So, what am I trying to get at here is that sometimes in our games, and I think this study is, even though it is a composed problem, we have these types of positions in our games where we have two moves that seem like they're either going to transpose uh, into into each other, in which case there's no difference, or they're going to they seem equivalent, but oftentimes, and many times it's a tactical issue. There is a certain nuance behind them that makes one move superior to the other. And of course, it's difficult to do in our blitz games, but in our classical games, in our long, serious games, it's very important for us to make sure that we can tell the difference so we can make a proper evaluation. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, hit that like button. If you're not already a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe so you can get more contents. Make sure you hit that notification bell. And I hope you found this video helpful. I really think that these endgame studies are very useful for teaching these kind of micro calculation skills as well as improving our visualization. So if you want to do more of them, I've got a whole playlist here of several endgame studies I presented on this channel. And also I have links to a couple of the books that I use to study endgame studies. I really think they're enjoyable as well as instructive. So check those out. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.